Let's have a look at this morning's newspapers, and the main story on the front of the Daily Mail is our lead story today too. It centres on a top cardiologist who says millions of Britons should be prescribed weight loss jabs in order to cut the risks of having heart attacks or a stroke.
This story is everywhere this morning. The Express also featuring the weight loss story. According to the paper, the slimming jab can help people shed a quarter of their body weight, making it the most effective yet.
The Guardian has an exclusive story on a report which recommends what it calls a double lock for tenants renewing their tenancies. The paper says the report's findings heap pressure on Sir Keir Starmer to do more for renters after the Labour leader promised to tackle England's housing crisis if he is elected Prime Minister.
And the Metro this morning reports on the King officially handing over the role of Colonel-in-Chief of the Army Air Corps to the Prince of Wales. The paper says that during the official visit yesterday afternoon, the King revealed that one of the effects of his cancer treatment to a veteran who'd undergone therapy, he said, "I lost my sense of taste." That's the headline.
And inside the papers today, there's a story that's caught my eye in the Mirror. It's about Manchester United, who are, of course, going to go and play at Wembley for the FA Cup final. And the announcement that if you are a member of family for a player, you won't get your transport paid for to that final, which is a new thing. And it's a cost-saving thing by Sir Jim Radcliffe, who, as we know, is a very canny businessman and probably trying to save a few quid here and there, despite the fact that, I'm just going to check these numbers, according to Deloitte, United pulled in revenue of £640 million last year, but they do actually have a debt which is around, it's a credit-like facility of £710 million, and they also have a leaky stadium. So maybe he's going to try and fix the roof.
Asserting himself and his financial
yeah.
credibility. Interesting interview in the Radio Times, which is featured in today's Daily Telegraph, with Dame Judi Dench, who's responding to trigger warnings. You know, on television, movies, increasingly at the theatre, you go and see something and there might be a warning beforehand for the audience, like be prepared for scenes of a distressing nature, that kind of thing. Well, she said, my God, it must be a pretty long trigger warning before King Lear. And she says she doesn't think people need them. She says if you're sensitive and you worry about these things, don't go to the theatre. Don't watch a play. And Sir Ian McKellen made similar response recently ahead of Macbeth. He said, I think it's ludicrous, these trigger warnings. I quite like to be surprised by loud noises and outrageous behaviour on stage. That's the point of theatre.
I suppose, and that's the point of Shakespeare, wasn't it? To show everybody you can be afraid and scared and recover. Yeah. But I do you not think some shows at the moment are a little bit, I don't know,
the Globe Theatre in
scary?
London, Shakespeare's Theatre, they're saying that, you know, they want to include as many people, invite as many people in as possible from all backgrounds and ages.
But not frighten them.
Exactly, so just make sure people know what they're going to see.
Good morning from BBC London, I'm Tolu Adeoye. A man shot dead in southwest London in the early hours of Saturday morning has been named as Jasmel Patterson Lowe. Police said the 26-year-old was shot on the Westbury estate, where a crowd of around 40 people had gathered. Detectives believe an argument flared up, resulting in a gun being fired. There have been no arrests. Redbridge Council in northwest London says it can't afford to repair a key bridge and is asking central government for funding. Broadmead Road Bridge has been shut for 9 months, causing delays and disruption to drivers, with little sign of it reopening. The government says the bridge is the council's responsibility.
There's some positives in the sense there's less traffic, which is quite nice, but it has a massive impact on deliveries, people travelling, people getting across different parts of the area.
What about the older elderly people who like to go to Sainsbury's? You know, they live down there and they need to go to Sainsbury's. It's not right.
The Mayor of London will lead a delegation of city leaders from around the world at a climate summit to be held at the Vatican this week. Sadiq Khan will have a private audience with His Holiness Pope Francis. He's the first London mayor to do so at the Vatican. Safety changes are being made along a busy stretch of the Thames path between Wandsworth Bridge and Battersea Park after residents reported feeling unsafe due to speeding cyclists. The works involve installing planter boxes and rumble strips along the path. Extra measures will also be added to help people navigate blind corners. Now, travelling on the London Underground can test tempers, particularly when it's busy. So what is good tube etiquette? What do you do with your backpack when the carriage is full, for example? Should you eat on the tube? Well, one of the UK's best-known etiquette experts, podcaster William Hanson, has some tips on the unofficial do's and don'ts, and you can see that on our website.